twice in a space of like 3-4 days. Remember on Wednesday, as Arsenal launched their charge to obviously get into what we call the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup, where Arsenal is obviously going to be facing a side known as Newcastle. They had to obviously come up and beat a side known as Crystal Palace by 3-2. And remember, it was Crystal Palace that scored first, then the club of Arsenal went ahead to obviously equalize, and then took a 2-goal lead through Gabriel Jesus' hat-trick. And then Edin Ketia came off the bench and obviously had to really put that ball into the back of the net to make it 3-2 for the club of Arsenal. That's how that game of football went ahead to happen. But as Arsenal gets into this big charge of this game of football, obviously they are having some boasts. Ricardo Calafiori and Declan Rice are back. Even Zinchenko might be back. And the manager has something to say about the return of these players. Smash the like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Rokani David is my name, and hope you guys are really having fun. Remember, we are powered by Mono Gadgets, dealers in brand new phones and brand new laptops. If at all you really need a brand new phone and a brand new laptop, or you want to obviously get your fave, what we call a used, let's talk about Christmas gifts, New Year gifts. You know, and Boxing Day is how many days away? It's 5 days away. Remember, Boxing Day is all about unboxing what we call the gifts that we've gone ahead to get in through on Christmas. So if you want to be part of that call, please go ahead and obviously call that number, +256 70 99 88 665. That's the number. Even if you want used phones and used laptops from the United Kingdom, you can as well call Mono Gadgets onto that number that you are seeing onto the screen. That is Mono Gadgets for you. They also have affordable smartwatches, right? I'm talking about affordable smartwatches. You're right? Affordable smartwatches is what you're talking about, and this is what we are here onto the Rokani Media Football. So please support Mono Gadgets. They've been with us and they really have what we call legit stuff. I tell you this, they do have legit stuff. Call them on that number, support them, and tell them I got your number from Rokani Media. You can also follow them on TikTok. Go ahead and really search for Mono Gadgets and the rest will be history. That is Mono Gadgets for you. Mono Gadgets for you. Now, we all know to it that Arsenal played Crystal Palace, and they're going to be playing Crystal Palace today. But some big news that came up was all about Arteta on Declan Rice and Ricardo Calafiori yesterday in the pre-match press conference. He told us that they are both available to be in the squad of Arsenal as they take on the side of Crystal Palace. I think that's the hugest story that you'll ever get in from your manager to confirm to you that the guy is really available, and his availability obviously brings in loads of changes into the probable starting 11 of Arsenal that we're going to be breaking down anytime from now. And for Ricardo Calafiori, he has been one of those unlucky people that I think this is like the third or fourth time him getting injured, and you wouldn't like to see yourself getting injured when you're really having your debut season of the club of Arsenal. He obviously has a lot to do to obviously convince very many people that he's worth that amount of money was signed for. But one thing you cannot downplay him for or fault him for is his technical ability on the ball, going forward and even building from the back. So the manager is really convinced that this guy is going to be doing the needful. And Ricardo Calafiori has missed out very many games. You know, he has been out for some long time. The other boast is all about Declan Rice, right? Declan Rice is one of those players that played on the weekend as Arsenal was drawing with Fulham, Everton 0-0, and in the midweek we anticipated him at least to be on the bench, but the story came in through that he was not part of the squad that went ahead to spend time in a hotel as they prepared to take on the side of the side of Crystal Palace, and it was confirmed that in the match squad he was not available. Now, when the manager came up yesterday in the pre-match press conference, he was really posed these questions, and when he was posed these questions, he had the reply that they are both available to be in the squad, meaning that they took part into the training session of Arsenal and they are all well and past fit to obviously take part into that. How does this affect Arsenal positively? I'm really going to be showing this to you into the match preview that is really going to be starting anytime from now, because I had to obviously first get you these stories about these players that are supposed to obviously show up. Now, the other player that is obviously anticipated to obviously be back into the Arsenal squad is none other than Zinchenko. Now, Arteta was asked on if there are any other updates. He said Zinchenko could probably be available as well. Tomiyasu won't be. So that means Zinchenko is also going to be returning, and the big question remains on to Kieran Tierney, because Kieran Tierney had a wonderful display on Wednesday as Arsenal knocked out Crystal Palace, and the manager took him out because he had a little bit of cramps. But I think he's not part of those players that can be totally ruled out of this encounter of Crystal Palace versus Arsenal. So when you look at Zinchenko returning, that means they're going to be having lots of options to play on the left back position. That is Zinchenko, Calafiori, and Kieran Tierney. Now, the manager will have a vast range of choices to choose on who to start. And in the probable starting 11 that I'm here to show you, I will tell you who I think will start into that position, just to make the point clear. So that is it, all about a man known as Zinchenko. Tomiyasu won't be available. Obviously, he's an injury-prone player. He's one of those players that are predicted to obviously get out or be sold from the side of Arsenal. I predicted that this guy will obviously be sold. However much they gave him a new contract, I think it was a way to obviously make some huge money from the sale of this player, because if a player is on a long contract and injury prone, there is no way you'll obviously get Arsenal limited funds. So all I believe is this player will obviously be given a very huge go at what he is expected to be getting into the mix. So that's what we are really having in through from the side of Arsenal, and the return of Zinchenko and Calafiori leaves us in an ocean of questions onto whether Kieran Tierney will obviously get any playing time, because when Kieran Tierney was available and Zinchenko and Calafiori were away, the manager trusted Lewis Skelly. So now we are like, will the manager trust Kieran Tierney to be even in his squad? That is the most important bit of it all. Will he trust him to even be in his squad? You understand? So the manager asked about Kieran Tierney after confirming that these players are really going to be available. The manager had the following to say: at the moment, he's here with us. I wouldn't play a player that is thinking about leaving. All is not committed to us, so he's fully committed. He's enjoying after a long period again with a really tough injury, so leave the moment. He's a big part of the squad now. He deserves to be in the squad and played really well after such a long time. So that's the only thing I can say. Now, I've already told you one thing, that this guy, known as Kieran Tierney, is very important for the club of Arsenal. And I think he can be a plan B, when you're playing teams like Fulham, when you're playing teams like Everton, that are really packing the bus, and you fail to obviously penetrate them. That's why I told you in the game of Everton and Fulham, I anticipated that in a way to obviously change the style of play of Arsenal, Kieran Tierney was obviously needed. Why was Kieran Tierney needed? We note it that he's good at obviously expanding the pitch, and he has a perfect cross, There is, I think, a cross, I think like 2-3 crosses he put in through when Arsenal was taking on that side of Crystal Palace that were really delightfully good. So if you're having a Kieran Tierney with you, you obviously understand that he's really going to come up with loads and lots of things that will obviously give you good vibes, especially things that Zinchenko cannot offer, things that Calafiori cannot offer. You understand? Things that Lewis Kelly cannot offer, because he's a traditional left back. So if he's a traditional left back, all you need from him is to see to it that he really does the needful with you. And what is that needful? To obviously get in a different plan altogether, widen the pitch. And if at all you're playing him as a left back, that means you don't need a Martinelli. You know, you don't need a Martinelli, because a Martinelli also will play in those wide areas. They might collide. You need a player like Trossard or Gabriel Jesus, who is obviously going to be inverting into the left half space and really leave the out wide left area for Kieran Tierney. And I think it would have gonna hit obviously work out, because you are gonna stretch the enemy, you know, because you'll note it that Kieran Tierney is deadly with his cross, meaning that the enemy is gonna be stretched. And when you stretch the enemy to obviously prevent that Kieran Tierney cross, obviously you'll have spaces, players like Odegaard, Gabriel Jesus, and very many others to operate in and do their magic. I think Arteta was really very rigid to obviously make that Kieran Tierney substitution. But the coming in through of Calafiori, Zinchenko, Lewis Kelly, obviously just block the chances of this guy. And for that, allow me go into here and obviously put a poll in here. You know, who is your probable left back, first choice left back for Arsenal? You know, first choice left back for AFC. Now, Zinchenko, 1, 2, Tierney, 3, Lewis Skelly, 4, Calafiori. Now, let's vote. Please go into the live chat and please vote. You know, who is your first choice left back? All those are really there and they are back. They're here to put in a very big shift for you guys. So all I want to let you know is that they are back, and what do you think about them? Who would be that first choice left back that you'll obviously enjoy at the club of Arsenal? So that is it. And smash the like button, comment and share, and continue to subscribe, right? Because we are left with like 100 subscribers to hit 24,000 subscribers. So guys, go into the lower right bottom corner and smash that button. Now let's get to the game of Arsenal versus Crystal Palace, and you're going to be getting back there in a nick of time. Now, Arsenal is taking on Crystal Palace, you know, and that game is going to be played at Selhurst Stadium, you know, 23,846 seater. Crystal Palace is placed 16th on the Premier League table, right? And they've gone ahead to obviously win 3 games, and they've drawn 7 games. When you look at Crystal Palace and how they've been really taking themselves as a side, I'll tell you, at home, they've been really a tricky side, and they've been a hard nut to beat. Let me give you why this is like this. When they hosted Man City, it ended 2-2, and that is their last game they hosted in the Premier League. When they hosted Newcastle, it ended 1-1. When Fulham beat them by 2-0, but they had a red card. Then they beat Tottenham Hotspur by 1-0. It shows you how hard this place is. Then Liverpool beat them by 1-0. Again, this symbolizes how hard this game of football is. United versus Crystal Palace at home, it ended 0-0. You know, I'm just giving you these games that they've gone ahead to play. In the last game they played in the Premier League, they beat Brighton away from home by 3-1, meaning that they're really having a very huge gear. For Arsenal, we all know what the duel is for the club of Arsenal. They've been drawing in their previous 2 games of the Premier League. That is really very, very embarrassing for the club of Arsenal, meaning that Arsenal is going to be coming to this encounter when they officially know what is at stake. You understand? And what is going to be at stake? It's all about a team like Man City playing before them. You get? very many teams are really going to be playing before Arsenal, because Arsenal is playing later in the night. It's the last game of match day 17. And City are the first ones to obviously showcase at the Villa Park. They're going to be taking on Aston Villa. Big game in there for you. And remember, those two teams have a very huge impact in here, because if City wins, they are level with Arsenal. If Aston Villa wins, I think they'll be a little bit closing in on Arsenal. So it's a big game, you know. West Ham will be playing Brighton. Brighton is another side that is really lazy and stubborn into this competition, because if Brighton wins their game, they'll go to 27 points. They won't also displace Arsenal. If Aston Villa wins, they'll go to 28. You understand? Then Newcastle, Ipswich, Brentford, Nottingham, meaning that the only game that will affect Arsenal is the positive result of Man City. If they get 3 points, then they'll be closed in by City in there for you. Even Nottingham is playing Brentford, right? So Nottingham is having 28 points. If Nottingham wins, then they'll dislodge Arsenal from the third position and they'll take over it, because they'll be having 31 points. So that's what makes this game very important for the club of Arsenal, and pressure will be in as they wait for Liverpool and Chelsea to play tomorrow on Sunday. So that is Arsenal for you. So when we go to the players that are really injured, Arsenal is having Ben White and Tomiyasu. I think those are the only players that are really injured, and they're really out, because the managers confirmed to us that Ricardo Calafiori, Zinchenko, and Declan Rice are really going to be back. You get? But for the side of Crystal Palace, they've confirmed to us that Ebelechi Eze is out. The manager said that he had an exacerbated foot injury at the Emirates. You remember he was even withdrawn around the 60th minute. And by the way, I was like, why was he withdrawn? And now we know why he was withdrawn. Then Daniel Munoz is also out. You get? And I think those are the players that join the likes of Watson, who has a groin injury. Matthias Franca is having a groin injury. Then Rob Holding, disciplinary issue, formerly at Arsenal. And Chadi Reid is having a fitness problem. You get? So those are the players that are really going to be unavailable for the side of Crystal Palace. But I would like to confirm to you that it's not yet done and dusted. It's really moving on as planned for the club of Arsenal to obviously go ahead and really register some good points from this encounter. Smash the like button, comment and share. If you're really watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Some shout outs to David Sozi, thank you for watching in. Abiyo Christine, Munyampudu Joseph, Abiyo Christine, Michael Francis, Musasizi Godfrey, Buddy Rutalo, and Koroma. Thank you for obviously being part of this morning live session that really leads us into the beautiful encounter of Arsenal. Now, Arsenal made some changes during the midweek, and you really saw those changes for those players that went ahead to obviously start. And the big contention is on a player called Gabriel Jesus and Kai Havertz. Who do you start? It's one of those polls that I'm going to be launching in later after we really do this probable starting 11, right? So, obviously, the system is 4-3-3 that Arsenal is really going to be playing, and the system is 4-3-3, that is it. And in goal, no doubts about it, it's really going to be David Raya, right? No doubts about him. And he kept a clean sheet in the game they played last weekend, but it was a 0-0 that never helped Arsenal to obviously proceed and really close down on Liverpool that had drawn, or that was drawing at Anfield with Fulham. Then, right back, I think it's going to be Julian Timber to be played at the right back of the club of Arsenal. And at the left back, I think the manager is going to be, all right, this is where I need your vote. And let me end it. Let me see. Who do you want to start? Who do you want to start? Who do you want to start? Now, 75% have called in for Calafiori. Then Lewis Skelly 12%, Zinchenko 6%, and Kieran Tierney 6%. So you've all agreed with me that Calafiori should be played as the left back for the club of Arsenal, right? And I think I also agree with you. But let me ask you another question. Who should lead the line today for Arsenal? Is it Havertz or Jesus? So that is another huge question that we are waiting for its answer. You get? So go ahead and obviously tell me, who do you think should obviously lead the line for the club of Arsenal into that beautiful encounter that is going to be played at the stadium of Selhurst Park. Now, that is Calafiori for you. Now, at the right side of the central defense, obviously, it's going to be William Saliba, who was rested in the midweek, by the way, because... So, we are waiting to see how the manager is obviously going to come up and obviously tell us who is really going to be playing where and how they're really going to be playing into his system. But I believe that back five is really solid, and it really gets Arsenal to where they've always gone ahead to be, into their solid positions of this beautiful game of football. So that is my back five. I tell you, that is my back five. To the midfield, I think Partey, who was played as a right back, obviously gets back his position in the CDM area as a player for the club of Arsenal. That is Thomas Partey for you. Then Declan Rice, I think, is going to be given a go, because one thing I've going to hate to know about this manager of Arsenal, when a player is returning from injury, he can really play him. We know that very well. That's why I've had all the confidence that a player like Calafiori is obviously going to be given a go start into this beautiful encounter of Arsenal versus Crystal Palace versus Arsenal. Then the other player, he came on when Arsenal is playing against Crystal Palace, and he had 2 assists into this game of football, and that is Martin Odegaard. Captain fantastic, and he really saw Jesus score 2 goals from his line-breaking passes that he really found him into that area of Crystal Palace. So that is my midfield 3 for the club of Arsenal, and I think that's how they're really going to be lining up as they take on this side that is really stubborn at their stadium. Then right forward, he also came off the bench and put in an assist for Gabriel Jesus. He goes by the names of Bukayo Saka. He's obviously going to be playing as a right forward, and he will be looking to add more to his numbers that he already has into what we call the Premier League. First and foremost, I think no player has gone ahead obviously put in more assists in the Premier League than him. He really has 10 assists and he has 5 goals, and today he'll be looking forward to obviously adding more to those that he has already gone ahead to create as a player. That is Bukayo Saka, and I know he's really going to be starting fresh because the manager rested him during the midweek and came on and played like, is it 20 minutes, you know, and he's coming on through. So Arsenal getting in a second goal. On the left, I think it's going to be Gabriel Martinelli. Gabriel Martinelli is one of those players that also got rested when they're really beating Crystal Palace in the midweek, and now he's back in full swing to obviously put in that required shift altogether. That is Ricardo Calafiori for you. Sorry, that is Gabriel Martinelli for you. He's not having the best of the season, but the good thing is that the manager of Arsenal trusts him a lot. He trusts him a lot and is like, this is the guy to do me the job. Now, people, who do you want to lead the line? Is it Kai Havertz or Gabriel Jesus? That is the most important bit of it all. You people are voting, and let me give you a little bit of stats of these players. Now, Jesus has been having a very horrible season. You know, he started the season and he was injured, you know, and good enough, he's back, and he launched his season in the midweek by scoring a hat-trick, and that hat-trick has gone ahead to see very many say, no way, he's not he shouldn't be started. I saw he's called Robbie of the AFTV. They are in Sierra Leone, right, doing certain work there to promote the AFTV channel. And he was like, if you're a manager, you cannot drop a player who has scored a hat-trick in the midweek. Meaning that if you drop him, you are killing his motivation levels. And you are like telling Kai Havertz it's okay for you to obviously not perform and start. So they are like, the manager should send a statement, you know, should send a statement to them that this is not a joking subject and they should obviously see themselves compete. Meaning that if Gabriel Jesus has raised the bar to that level, they have to come up and obviously start him. And others are like, Kai Havertz has been really not well, but he has played 15 Premier League games, right and center. So let me see what your votes really read like. Now, I'm having one of you in the comment section and you are telling me that this is Abio Christine says Gabriel Jesus should start. Then Joseph says, okay, let Jesus start, but is no way to perform like Kai Havertz. You get? So let me end your poll and see what you people are gonna hate to say. Because the fact is, Kai Havertz hasn't been really having a very good season at the club of Arsenal. Like in the recent games, you know, he has been really struggling to score. Now, 68% of you have voted for Gabriel Jesus to start and 31% have voted for Kai Havertz to start. Meaning that 1% are like, we are out of this. This is none of our business. So let me think. Who did I really put in the starting position to lead the focal point? I think I went in for Kai Havertz. And I have my reasons as to why I went in for him. Jesus, however much went ahead and scored a hat-trick, the manager would like to obviously manage him better because he played 90 minutes. And is he ready to play 2 consecutive games, like starting at high energy? You know, I think the manager will be like, let me reserve Gabriel Jesus and let me play him in this game as a substitute. And I think Kai Havertz has a lot of credit in his bank to obviously come and obviously start ahead of Gabriel Jesus. And the manager will be like, let me obviously try to set a task for Gabriel Jesus, you know, and really challenge him that you scored a hat-trick, but this game we are not going to start. It's Kai Havertz that is really going to start. And if Kai Havertz is going to be starting in that encounter, that means Jesus will be like, oh, I scored a hat-trick, and the manager was like, you are not really to that point. So let me score a Premier League goal, because those were goals scored in the Carabao Cup. He needs league goals. And I think he last scored in a league game. That is last season. That is Gabriel Jesus for you. So I don't think that he also has an assist this season in the Premier League. Let me check his stats and see. So that really makes it hard for him to obviously come up and obviously give a reason to start. And I think the manager will obviously start Kai Havertz. I know very many of you were like, let's start Jesus because he got a hat-trick. But I don't see him start. You know, in the Premier League, 0 goals, 0 assists in 13 games. But most of the games has been coming on as a substitute. That is the side of Gabriel Jesus, and that's what he brings on the table. So that is my probable starting 11 for the club of Arsenal. I don't know who do you start and who do you take out, but I've gone ahead obviously flaunt you that. Now for Crystal Palace, let's go to Sports Mall and see what they're telling us. Henderson in goal, Klein, Nathan right back to take on Martinelli, then Loxley left back, then Gehi and Chaloba playing into the central defense, then Dokore, Hughes and Michel, and then Sa, Kamada and Mateta to obviously lead the line. Edin Ketia came off the bench and obviously got a very beautiful header. I don't know whether the manager will obviously start him today, but I tell you what, it's really not going to be something easy for the club of Arsenal to obviously get points from that side, because it's not easy. Every time they've gone ahead to play there, it has always been a very, very, very hard side or hard nut to crack. Now let's go to the head-to-head stats that have been provided to us by Google. and then I'll tell you my prediction. Now, 1. Crystal Palace have lost their last 4 Premier League meetings with Arsenal, having lost just 1 of their previous 8 against the Gunners, meaning that the side of Arsenal has been beating Crystal Palace home and away. Secondly, Arsenal have lost just 2 of their last 19 away games against Crystal Palace, meaning that they've won 10 and drawn 7, with both defeats coming in the Premier League by 3-0. That is in April 2017 and April 2022. You know? Now, 3. Arsenal have alternated between a defeat of 4 and a victory of 3 in their last 7 Premier League home London derbies matches, losing 2-0 against Fulham last time out at Selhurst Park. So, fourthly, Arsenal are unbeaten in all 9 of their Premier League London derby matches in 2024. They have 7 wins and 2 draws, meaning that they are in fine form. That's how you can obviously describe them. The last team to go unbeaten in such matches in a full calendar year was Chelsea. In 2005, they had 9 wins and 1 draw, meaning that if Arsenal win their game in London today, they'll have gone to 8, and there will be 1 less to match this side. And I have to cross-check whether Arsenal is going to be playing a London team very soon before the first half of the season comes to an end. While the last time Arsenal did so, it was in 2004 to go 7 games, to have 7 wins and 3 draws. Then 5, lastly, host 5 of their first 8 Premier League matches this season with 3 draws. Crystal Palace have now lost just 1 of their last 8. 3 wins, 4 draws, and are unbeaten in their last 5. 2 wins and 3 draws. The Eagles are looking for back-to-back Premier League victories for the first time since a run of 3 in May. That is how things are really panning out for the club of Crystal Palace, and they've gone ahead obviously coming through with a very big bang. With all those stats lined up there, I'm like, Arsenal 2, Crystal Palace 1. I know it's not going to be an easy game, but I know Arsenal is really going to win this one because they know it very clear that by the time they play today, they'll be playing ahead of Liverpool. Liverpool is having 36 points. If you look at the table of the Premier League, let me even flash it for you. Liverpool is having 36 points, right? Though they have a game in hand. Now, if Arsenal win today, they'll go to 33 points. They'll be 3 points behind Liverpool. And Liverpool is going to be playing Tottenham Hotspur. And we know how stubborn Tottenham Hotspur is when it comes to play these big teams. And they have gone ahead, obviously, get a boost of going to the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup after beating Man United in the midweek. They knocked out United 4-3. And this game of football is going to be played in London. And Tottenham Hotspur needs this game like no other because they know to it that their manager, to be safe, he needs to win these kind of games. And Spurs is really having a very good side. And we look at Spurs, they're really having 23 points, meaning that when they win against Liverpool, they'll be at 26 points. So I tell you what, it's going to be a very hugely contested game. The problem of Spurs is that they're really having some good injuries, you know, especially into their defense. And I don't know whether those players are really going to be returning. But all in all, they have a problem of their goalkeeper. That is Foster. You saw how he went ahead to obviously gift very many goals to the club of Manchester United when they are playing yesterday. So we just wait to see how that is going to happen. But to put yourself in a position to obviously pile pressure onto the side of Liverpool as they go into this game, Arsenal has to win their game today. And the moment they win their game today, all will be okay. And when you look at this side of Spurs, when I read here, Ben Davies hamstring injury, Christian Romero, Mark van der Ven, all those are out. So they are really still a side that is really very weak. So for Liverpool, obviously they're the favorites. I'm going to be coming out, obviously, let you know about that game of football. But all in all, we'll be here telling you the best of this beautiful game of football. So my prediction is 2-1 for the club of Arsenal. That is it. Then Koroma, bro, may Allah continue to bless you. Thank you. May him continue to bless you too. Lutalo says, thanks, bro, for the updates always. All right, thank you. Then Musasizi Joffrey, hey, my brother, I appreciate your work so much. But why can't Arteta trust Gabriel Jesus every game, even if it's for 30 minutes? And Havertz. He was asked that question on whether Kai Havertz and Jesus can play in the same team, and was like, all right, they can play the same team. And by the way, there is something I would love Arteta to try out. Like, try out a system of 4-1-3-2. In a single pivot, play Thomas Partey there. Now, in the midfield three, you'll be having Odegaard, you'll be having Bukayo Saka, and Martinelli or Trossard. Then, you bring on Jesus to play as a center forward alongside Kai Havertz, because Kai Havertz can play behind Jesus very, very well. It's really possible. Michael Francis, Arsenal is going to win 5-0. I doubt. I don't think Arsenal can go that ruthless to this side. Abiyo Christine, good morning, my man. All right, thank you. Good morning, Abiyo Christine. I'm following you right from Ajumani district. Nah, how is work? Work is okay. How is work, Christine? Christine, you know, that is also my home area, you know. I'm a West Nile, you know that. Joseph says Eze is out. Yeah, Eze is out. He's not obviously going to be playing any game of football into that game. I've already told you. David Sozi, thanks, brother, for your time and update. All right, thank you too. Abiyo Christine, Tierney is a perfect right back to me. Or left back for you, left back. All right. Then David Sozi, Rokani, I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year with your family. Me too. I wish everyone who watches into this channel a Happy Christmas and a merry one for with their families. Or Team Julius, hey RD, Arteta should start Kelly on the left back. Oh God. So those are the comments that we obviously had in through here onto this channel, and continue to smash the like button. I've given you my prediction, by the way. It's a 2-1 win for the club of Arsenal. So let's wait and see by the end of the game, and I think it's really gonna end at around what time, you know, because it's really gonna be starting at 20-30 hours, meaning that you add 1.5 hours. That's when the game of football is gonna be done. At 22 hours, we'll be here telling you what the game of football will be like. The match reaction will be on, and we'll be really breaking that game down. And you know, to eat that at 19:30, with the lineups out, we'll be here putting out to dissection what we call the confirmed starting 11, and comparing it with the probable starting 11 that you've gonna hate to see onto your screen there, that we think the manager is obviously gonna be flaunting to obviously fight him a battle of winning this beautiful game of football, because he needs to get back to winning ways. And in the midweek, it was good, they got back to winning ways. But right now, it's obviously one of those moments where we'll be waiting to see what is really going to be happening. Guys, continue to subscribe, because we are left with 100 subscribers to hit 24,000 subscribers. So guys, please, let's continue to subscribe. I see someone here, before I obviously conclude, he's known as Edu Math Vibes. I think Arteta should start Sterling, because Chelsea loaned him to Arsenal and looks like he's failing. But never say never for a player like him, because with Arsenal playing in these tournaments more like the Carabao Cup, it shows you that he's really going to be having ample playing time. And you know, to it that Arsenal is going to be playing Newcastle in a double header of a semi-final, and that really means a lot. It really means a lot for the club of Arsenal. So guys, thank you very much for watching through. It has been nice having you in here. Robert, I think you're the last person I'm attending to. You are telling us that I think Arsenal doesn't have any injuries according to the manager. No. Ben White is injured. Tomiyasu is injured. But the rest of the players are back. And that trio has Zinchenko, Calafiori, and Declan Rice. But Benjamin White and Tomiyasu are not yet back. Those are the injuries that Arsenal is really having. Thank you for obviously being part of this live. I'm always honored to obviously have you and talk to you, because it really gives me a lot of vibes when I see to it that 60 people plus have been watching live, and we will be here waiting to see how things pan out. I sign out. Bye bye for now, and see you later. Bye.